potential to include existing clubs. Absolutely, should there be interest, the opportunity to create sustainable competition.
Guys, there's some very important news about the NBA Europe project. We're talking about a brand new league, possible teams under legendary football clubs, and maybe even a battle with another investor group that's trying to create its own global hoop circuit. It feels like the entire European basketball world is getting ready for a major shakeup, so let's unpack the details. A few weeks ago, I did a video breaking down rumors of an NBA FIBA project that could rival or even replace the EuroLeague. Back then, the clues mainly centered on David Stern's old vision for a European division within the NBA. There were also Adam Silver's comments about growing the game globally and speculation about whether EuroLeague clubs would jump ship. Since then, we have learned quite a lot more thanks to new reports from BasketNews journalist Donatas Urbanas and ESPN's Brian Windhorst. So now the picture is starting to look much more concrete. First, Urbanas sources are saying that the NBA's plan prioritizes big European markets that can bring in serious money, rather than the traditional basketball powerhouses. This includes Paris, Manchester, Berlin, Munich, and Madrid, who are at the top of the list. We're talking about major metropolitan areas in Europe with access to lucrative sponsorship deals, world-class arenas, and potential billions of investments from foreign countries. In other words, the NBA isn't simply focusing on who has the best history in the EuroLeague. They're focusing on where they could build a giant business machine. Real Madrid emerges as the crown jewel among existing EuroLeague clubs. They are reportedly hesitant to commit to the new 10-year EuroLeague deal and have left some wiggle room to entertain a switch to the NBA's project. If they decide to leave, the domino effect might be massive. There's a good chance Barcelona might follow them simply to keep that famous rivalry alive. Meanwhile, in France, Tony Parker's as well is a prime candidate. Parker has publicly flirted with the idea of joining an NBA-run league in Europe, and he also owns a share of the EuroLeague, so it's definitely a complicated situation. On top of that, there's also talk of reviving a Paris Saint-Germain basketball team. PSG did have a basketball section in the 90s, but it's been dormant for years. Now plans are to combine the brand power of PSG team that's backed by the NBA's marketing machine. In theory, it sounds nice, but in reality, I have no clue why football fans now all of a sudden would be interested in basketball. Then we get to England and Germany, where that might be an even bigger issue. It's no secret that the NBA has been eyeing the UK market for a while, hosting preseason games in London and exploring the idea of tapping into Premier League clubs. Manchester could potentially become home to a new franchise affiliated with Manchester City's ownership group in Abu Dhabi. Germany, meanwhile, might end up with two franchises, but the interesting part is that the existing giants like Alba Berlin or Bayern Munich might not be the focus. Some reports suggest that the NBA might launch a brand new organization in Berlin, build a new arena, or maybe even go to Munich. Either way, the plan is to attract new fans and corporate partners rather than relying solely on already established organizations. The earliest launch date that gets thrown around is the 2026-27 season, though nothing is locked in. So far, we know that the league could start with 10 teams, heavily centered on media rights, sponsorships, and expansion fees. The initial funding might come from the NBA's massive new TV deal in the United States, set to kick in around 2025-26, which is rumored to be worth roughly $76 billion. That kind of money could definitely provide some cushion for this new league to find its footing, especially in the first years. Just before I continue, a quick reminder to check out our partner Rabona for best EuroLeague odds you can find online. I'll leave all the info in the description below. Now let's bring in what Brian Windhorst and ESPN have added to the conversation. They confirmed this would be a standalone league similar to the Basketball Africa League, which is also under the NBA umbrella. So yeah, it just confirms that it won't be a division in Europe, and we can forget about Boston Celtics coming to Berlin. Over time, there could be exhibition games or even an international tournament, but for now, the plan is for NBA Europe to be its own separate thing. Windhorst also points out that the existing NBA owners have concerns about profitability since the G League, the WNBA, and even Basketball Africa League have burned money for years before turning any kind of a profit. The owners ultimately have to vote this new league into existence, so if they think it's going to be too big of a money pit, they might slam on the brakes. At the same time, Adam Silver's focus on Europe appears to be slowing down any kind of immediate plans to expand stateside. We have heard the cries for a new franchise in Seattle or Las Vegas for ages. Seattle fans have never quite recovered from losing the Sonics, and Las Vegas has become hotbed of professional sports with NFL and NHL teams thriving. However, Windhorst notes that with so much energy and attention going into the European venture, Adam Silver might delay domestic expansion until the situation across the Atlantic is clearer. One of the biggest reasons that the NBA sees so much potential in Europe is the influx of Middle Eastern investment. We've already seen massive deals in football, and the next frontier seems to be basketball. Abu Dhabi is set to host EuroLeague Final Four for the first time, Dubai is trying to get its own EuroLeague franchise, and both regions have shown interest in hosting more NBA games. For the NBA, partnering with these investors opens up a stream of money that could support large arenas, high player salaries, and cutting-edge marketing campaigns. That might open the door to establishing Middle Eastern teams in this new league, but at the moment, the league officials are saying that's not on the table. But listen to this, a new rival could be emerging. Maverick Carter, who is LeBron James's business partner, is advising a group of investors that wants to raise $5 billion to launch a fully international basketball league with a rotational schedule a bit like Formula 1. They're planning 6 men's and 6 women's teams set to play in 8 cities worldwide, with Singapore already announced as one of the locations. If that goes forward, it might directly compete with European League run by the NBA, the EuroLeague for all the players, their salaries, and all the sponsors. Right now, it is just a rumor, but it's crazy that we might have not just 1, but 2 major players coming into European basketball. And all of this obviously has implications for the EuroLeague. If a team like Real Madrid leaves, or if Barcelona, ASVEL, and others follow, the EuroLeague might lose its main attractions. According to our sources, clubs have contractual obligations to stay for the next decade, but there are opt-outs if all the permanent member teams agree, or if individual clubs decide to pay an exit fine. Like I said in the first video, that's not exactly a rock-solid agreement. The only real deterrent might be the fear of fans revolting, especially in places like Greece, Serbia, or Lithuania, where basketball traditions run deep. Then again, we see that those regions are not of interest for that new NBA project, so the EuroLeague might just continue with teams from those regions. Long term, I imagine that the NBA's globalization won't stop, and we'll see more and more brands popping up in different regions. Adam Silver isn't giving any concrete answers, and to be honest, let's say I don't see how football fans now will be converted to basketball fans just because of the brand of the NBA or their team. I do want to hear what you think about all of this in the comments below. What are your feelings on this NBA Euro project, and can Adam Silver actually pull it off? Don't forget to check out our second channel outside the NBA, like this video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.